Okay, so I'm back. Where did I disappear to? I don't know. It's I got distracted. Like God sent me on a side quest, and then I was like, oh my gosh, side quests. Anyways, so today I wanted to talk about a topic, power. So what I noticed is that there's a tendency in the male community to want power. It's got nothing to do with like being biased or whatever. I just noticed like women want love more and men want respect and power. It's just psychology. So, like I sit with like a lot of words very deeply. I don't like to just say, okay, like what I like to take a word and like emphasize what is my personal understanding. Like, okay, this is the definition of power, but how does this personally apply to me? So when I think about power, it's quite hard. Like, what is power? Because you can have like the power of money, you can have the power of the mind, you can have like a lot of things that are very powerful. But I was thinking like in every one circumstance, power is very specific to them, so like, for me, maybe I found in life that like love is the most powerful thing, and because it has that powerful effect. Whereas for someone, maybe their emotions feel very powerful, they are very powerful. Emotions are very powerful. Okay. So, I saw like someone speaking about power, and I'm very analytical, so I notice like little things, and sometimes like certain words like pop up that I'm like, ooh, that's a topic. Like it's kind of when you read a paragraph and you're like, okay, what is the summary of this paragraph? And then I expand on the word by going deeper into the word. So I was like trying to figure out like, okay, power, like what is my power? And I kind of had like this visual in my head of like, okay, like honoring what your power is. Like I had this like, if you're a superhero, you would have like a specific power, and no superhero has the same power. So we all have our own individual power. And like I came to this like realization that I was like, why don't I focus on accepting my own power? Because like there's lots of superhero stories where they like reject their power and they don't like their power. And I was like, you know what? Like, God, can you explain to me my power? What is my superpower? Now, superpower might sound like magical or imaginative, but certain things can be like your talent or your skill, it's a more grounded, more practical sense. So what I did find is I used to have dreams, so I feel like God answered me in my dreams. So on my subconscious level, I was having these dreams about like being creative, like having these creative superpowers. My psyche is listening to me. So basically I came to a conclusion that, okay, like maybe my superpower is creativity. But like what I noticed is like my inner feelings about this. I was like, oh, but like, oh, do I really? Is this such a cool power? Like, because like on a subconscious level, we're kind of looking for approval. We're kind of like, yo, but like, you're the emotional one, you're the creative one, so in my dreams I feel very powerful and I'm like tapping into my creativity, but like I feel like commonly in this world that creativity is not necessarily such a valued trait. So it's kind of like, you go to school and you're like, okay, how do I explain this? You go to school and you're like, okay, like if you're doing English or if you're doing science, you're like really smart, but if you're doing like art, they're just fooling around there. It's not true. Okay, it's not true. But I don't know, we just in society awaits certain things, and I feel like, anyways, so on my journey of on my journey of power, I came across this book, okay. I was going through I go through phases. In certain phases, I develop certain skills. So I kind of see my psychology and my subconscious as a house. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to improve my house. And I'm like, okay, we're going to work at the kitchen, then we're going to work in the lounge, then we're going to work in the bedroom. So like my subconscious has different rooms where I'm like, this is my spiritual room, This is my emotional room. This is my financial room. And basically, I basically work on those different levels. Like, God guides me in a sense of he'll say, like, let me bring some spiritual opportunities to you, and then I understand that, okay, this is what God wants me to focus on. Like, right now, I think God wants me to like focus on, like, this one's more of like a year phase, is like a career phase. So that's what I'm currently like pursuing. But anyways, according to my spiritual journey I had last year, I think it lasted 3 months. I was doing some spiritual development. I went into a bookstore because I really like reading, but sometimes, like, when I'm doing my coursework, I'm like, that's a lot of reading. So I'm already doing reading, and then I was like, I don't want to do extra reading because I would like to put not all my eggs in one basket. Anyways, so I found this book. So this is the book I'm currently reading. Let me show you properly. Sorry, the light. Okay, and it's called The Power of a Praying Wife. And I know you're going to sit here and you say, Kai, but you're not a wife. And I'm like, yes, I'm not a wife. But I really wanted to understand, like, what God was telling me when he was like, what is the power of prayer? It's like I'm exploring different aspects of power and what my power is and what other people's power is. And I'm like, okay, I saw this book, The Power of Prayer. The power of a praying wife is just, why did I choose a wife? And I'll tell you now, because I have a dream. I was sitting there in the store, and my mom was like shopping with me, because my mom goes shopping with me because I like to have a rapport with someone and like bounce ideas off. I don't like shopping alone. I'm like, who's gonna comment and give me feedback? And anyway, so my mom's like, you can't get this book. I'm like, no, Mom, but it's a manifestation. It's like, it's the power of a praying wife. Like, I'm already a wife in the future, I'm just praying for my future husband, so obviously the book is very about praying for your husband and a wife. It's more about couples, but I just took it into the mindset of, the like power of me praying for my husband that's in the future, like we connected somewhere. We connected somewhere. I know I'm going to be a wife one day. So it was just like not pessimistic, optimistic thinking, okay? But the book isn't necessarily, like, if you take it on surface level, yes, it's about, like, okay, a woman praying for a man, and it brings up, like, certain things that, like, help with conflict and help with, like, certain struggles that you go through as a woman, like, especially when dealing with men. So for me, I take it as, I've been looking for a philosophy in life, and I'm like, I feel like having a philosophy is very important. So I'm trying to get, like, deeper into what my philosophy is. And, like, sometimes, like, so my cousin, like, I noticed, like, a big shift in him, like a huge shift in him. And I was just talking to someone that knew him very closely, and basically I saw that he was reading a certain philosophy, and that philosophy, like, changed his life. And I was like, so it's, like, so powerful. I was just like, wow, the power that, like, just creating a philosophy is, like, changing your mindset. And I was just like, okay, I'm on a mission to find my philosophy. So I was looking at this book, and I just, like, said to God, whenever I pray to God, I always, like, send him like a DM, like, yo, God, can you help me with philosophy? Thanks, coach. Thanks, coach. And basically, yeah, so he brought me this book, and this book isn't just literally, like, if you want to know more about the book, like, I can speak about it, but I have, like, a time limit of 10 minutes, but anyways, yeah, so it's basically a relationship book. It's more helps me with relationships, like, for example, like, the topic that I was reading today, like, for example, it's a devotional book, but, like, it's kind of like wishing the best for people. It doesn't necessarily have to be a man. It can be, like, your relationships with anyone. But, like, this one says, like, when he carries a heavy burden. So that was my topic for today. It's, like, it's a devotional book, so it's, like, every day has a specific thing. And basically, like, the topic was, like, burdens, and I mean, I personally went through a struggle where I was feeling heavy burdens on me. Like, I could feel this burden energy, and I would pray every day and just acknowledge it and listen to it and say, like, like, do my constant growth and work and say, like, okay, I'm looking at this, I noticed this. And now when I look back, I'm like, whoa, whatever I did, I feel like my body is communicating that, okay, we feel less burdens, and I was super happy, and then sometimes when you're in a stronger position, it's easier to help someone else with the burden. Like, for example, whenever I think of burdens, I think of like someone carrying something. And like, like my hands are free, so like I can help that person carry it and like carry what they're carrying, make it a little bit easier, because that's quite heavy, but sometimes you're the one carrying everything and you need someone to help you carry. So it just depends on what the situation is. But like, I was in a position, like, it talks about like praying for someone's burdens, like I'm in a position and I feel strong in prayer where I can pray for their burdens. I can't take away their burdens. That's in God's hands. I can help when God asks me to help, but like, I have certain boundaries. Yeah, so anyways, like, I just wanted to, I'm probably actually, I'll probably like go through this book. Maybe this is a very nice book. It's a very nice book. Maybe like my future podcasts will be about this. I don't know, I'm still brainstorming, I'm still playing around, I'm still figuring it out. But anyways, okay. So anyways, I just hope that you think when you're struggling in a relationship, just kind of put yourself in the other person's shoes. Like, maybe they're carrying some burdens that are heavy. Like the highlight of this book was talking about men. And because I'm a woman, I don't understand. It's women are from Venus, men are from Mars. Okay? I think I know what's going on in a man's head, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, what? you think like that? So anyways, it was talking about like how men carry financial burdens more than women, just culturally, like in a stigma in society, they are projected to, like, the reason they get sad or feel like a failure is more about financial things, whereas like if I had to take my own perspective, like I feel like a failure more in love, so it's just the way feminine and masculine people, women and men process things, or are programmed, or are designed, so they were saying that like men get a little bit more stressed about finances. And I figured this out. Like, there's this one man and he always used to be in Boots, and I was talking to my mom, and we were like, no, it must be about financial things. It must be a financial thing, because me and my mom were analyzing it. It must be about financial things. And we were having this theory that men, when they're in a bad mood, it's because they had to spend money. So I'm like, to track a man's mood, you just gotta watch what he's doing with these finances. You gotta create a forex trading and invest at the right emotional moment. Like, we won't call it forex trading, we'll call it relationship trading. Emotional trading, I don't know, I'm just being silly. But anyways, yeah, like it woke me up to the reality that, like, men struggle with their financial identity, like in the community, they have to be seen how much money you're making, and what are you successful at, and it's a big like concept of success. And I think that just opened my eyes a little bit to like a man's perspective. I think it's very healthy to look at someone else's perspective and not put yourself in their shoes. I know that's like the common thing, put yourself in someone else's shoes. There's no ways you could put yourself in someone else's shoes. You can have empathy for that person, but like at the end of the day, I could never know what a man feels like. I can listen and comprehend, but I can never know that pressure. Okay, so anyways, I just wanted to remind you to pray for people's burdens, help people when you are free of burdens. And just, if you are going through some heavy burdens, you will get stronger, I'm sure someone will come and help you with your burdens, and I hope it gets lighter. Lots of love.